Hi, welcome back to Tansy Academy. In this video, we'll be looking at the last lesson of chapter 7, COALESCE function. We'll see what this is about. COALESCE function is SQL returns the first non-null expression in a list of arguments. Arguments in the sense, if you use this function and say, column 1, column 2 or some numbers, so it will return, if this is not null, it will return the value from the column 1. Let's say if the column 1 is null, then it will try to return column 2 if column 2 is not null. Let's say column 1 is null, column 2 is null, and then it goes to column 3. So that's how it returns the first not null occurring column value. It is used to handle null values in queries by replacing them with a specific alternative. Because whenever you are trying to calculate a sum on the order, let's say your ROM is 100 and the discount amount is 0. So when you say 100 minus 0, if the discount is null, then 100 minus null you expect to be 100, right? But you will get null nothing. That means the order kind of like 0. So you have to be very careful when you are doing mathematical calculation. Always assume that a column will have null in it. So how to convert that null into 0 before you do any mathematical calculation. Okay. The purpose is to provide a way of substituting null values with a default value or another column value in a query. So most probably the nulls will be defaulted to 0, and then you do your mathematical calculation. Okay. Difference between COALESCE and isNull. IsNull SQL Server function to replace null with a specific value. This is in SQL Server. If null is in MySQL, but COALESCE is across all the DB platforms, so I prefer you guys to use this. Works with multiple expressions, not just two. Returns the first not null. And other difference between isNull and if null is, in isNull you can pass only one column. You can say isNull discount amount, right? But if you say COALESCE, you can say you can mention multiple columns here. Okay. So here is the example of COALESCE function. So let's assume that we have a table with the client ID, first name, last name, home phone, work phone, address. Okay. So now here are the null values in the last name column, in home phone number, work phone number, and address. So pay attention here. I am going to show how this COALESCE function is used. Okay. So here I say select client ID first name. Here I am saying COALESCE last name. If there is a null value in this last name, replace it with single quotes. That means empty string. Or I am using saying, okay, if my home phone number is null, okay, right, then go for work phone number. But what if these two are nulls? Then I'm going to print something like no contact info. In case of address, I'm just saying if the address one is null, just print this. Okay. So this is, if you apply this, if you run this query, the table stored in this way will be outputted here like this. So here for the row number 4, I'm not getting null anymore. I'm getting empty string. Okay. But for row number 7, the contact phone, okay, yeah, this work phone is null, but anyhow, I am first considering as home phone. I have the home phone, so I pass the home phone. But you watch for the row number 8, right? Home phone is null, work phone is not null. Okay, so I get what home phone is null means, it will fall back to the next available not null. So it will print the work phone. Okay. It will, for the row number 8, it will print 4645, row number 8 4645. It will not say null. Okay. But what for row number 9, both are nulls here, even home phone and work phone null. So it will fall back to the next whatever is mentioned in the list. So it says this is a string, so it will print this string saying that no contact information. For address here, I say whenever there is no address, just print this. So it will print this. So this is how you use. In case of if null or is null, you just say that if null home phone, or say like if null last name, you can convert to single quote. So in if null and is null, you can mention only one column. You cannot mention 2-3 columns or alternate values like COALESCE. So that is the difference between COALESCE and if null and is null. Okay. So you can say if home phone null, then 0, something like that, if you are using if null. Specifically use if null is null when you are working with only one column, like discount amount, right? You say if null if null bracket discount amount comma 0, that means the discount amount is null, it will be converted to 0. So if you know exactly if you are working with only one column, go for if null or is null, otherwise fallback and coalesce. Okay. And here right in MySQL I can say if salary is null, pass 0. So here this is my salary column and this is my formatted column, so it will be 0. In Postgres you don't have if null, so you have to use coalesce. And in Oracle there is something called NVL when you are working with a single column. In SQL Server you have something like is null, if this is null then print 0. So all this query will be having, see basically what I am showing here is how to handle null values in your calculations when you are trying to do add calculation salaries or add order amount to tax amount or shipping amount or deducted discount amount. You need to first convert them into 0. So this is how you do on a different platform. And then here I'm trying to use a coalesce amount instead of is null or if null. So here I was right here which one is discount amount is null, right? So I want to come out with the first, what is the sale amount? So I'll say sale amount minus discount amount, but I did not convert this null into 0. So if you do not convert this into 0, you will get null here. You will not get 1000 as you are expected. That is what I am trying to say. And here, okay, of course 1500 minus 200 is 1300, 2000 minus 300 is 1700, and here 1200 minus null, you will get null, you will not get 1200. So that's why it's very important to convert the nulls into 0. So I am saying coalesce discount amount to 0. If it is if it is null, it will be converted to 0. So this is the column, right, discount amount. So but what about, how can I use in my actual calculation? So this is my calculation, sale amount minus discount amount, but I am saying if this discount amount is null, convert to 0 using coalesce function. So this is how you use this if null is null coalesce to handle nulls in your calculation. So then I say as net amount. So here you got 0, but here you will be getting 1000 because this null is first converted to 0 here and then subtracted from the sales amount. That's how this query will be executed. I hope it's clear. Thanks a lot.